talking to Darren Bailey, the man who dared challenge the governor. I'm going to ask you a few questions that the media is probably not going to ask you. The first question I'll ask is, well, I guess everybody's going to ask this one. Lawsuit's going back to court, Clay County Court. You won.
Yeah.
You did not. Pritzker was denied changing the venue to here, even though he lives in Chicago.
Yep.
Full time. Heard your speech on the I guess the podium, and the lawsuit would apply to everybody. Now, previously, the lawsuit would apply to just you. Has that been changed?
Well, so the lawsuit all along applied to everyone. What was different about the first one was we added a TRO, that's a temporary restraining order. That means that once the judge looked at all the evidence and was going to set a court date for later, if he so deemed, he could kind of free me, give me a restraining order, which he allowed because he said this is unconstitutional. You're free to go. That's essentially what that was. The Attorney General's office appealed that based on a technical error. We didn't want things to slow up, so I threw it out.
Hold on.
Yes.
What was the technical error?
They claimed a filing error. We don't know if that's when we filed it, when the judge filed it, when the courthouse filed it. We don't know. We didn't even go there. We just said, you know what, just take it off. Just throw the temporary restraining order out. Yeah. So, but the problem was, the reason that it was held up for 2 weeks is because they then appealed to the Supreme Court. We learned that when you appeal to the Supreme Court has to issue an opinion. That happened this past Tuesday.
And you won!
I won again. So then just yesterday, we were at the courthouse. They, like you said, first of all, they wanted it moved here to the governor's official residence. Yeah, right. That was denied. The second thing was they wanted it pushed off. That was denied. They wanted so we set a court date, and they wanted it further out. That was denied. And here's the cool thing: the judge even asked them, "What time do you want it?" He said, and they said 3 o'clock. He said, "We're having it at 1 o'clock." So this guy, this judge, he understands, the Constitution. He understands how our rights are being trampled on. So we're blessed with that. So we're going to go back next Friday. The judge, if he rules the governor unconstitutional, which I believe he will, then he will have a choice to make. They will probably ask for a stay, that the law, nothing applies until it gets appealed. I expect him to deny that. So basically next weekend, everybody kind of should be free until they appeal it to the appellate court or the Supreme Court. And then it will be up to that court to decide if there is a stay granted or not, meaning can we go on with life as usual or not. And then there'll be a court date set. Or they may throw it out altogether. They may say, we're not hearing this. The circuit judge's ruling stands. That's entirely possible.
I've been keeping track of all the state's attorneys, sheriffs, and county boards that say they're not going to enforce the EO. Currently, we're up to about 35 out of 100 and some odd counties. Should it be... I guess it's been a slow pace on people saying they're not going to enforce the EO. Is there anything that can kind of convince these holdouts to join in on
the biggest thing needed to convince these holdouts is the people behind them that's voting for them. They need to stand behind them, and they need to say, you need to make a decision or we're going to replace you, because it is our constitutional rights. The reason they are not is fear and panic. Governor Pritzker stood up last week and threatened everyone with a lawsuit, and that's uncalled for. So
the next thing, they're finally going to call, I guess, the House back to Springfield and meet in the Prairie Capital Convention Center, or I guess BOS Center is what they call it now. They said they will deny any elected official that comes in without wearing PPE. Are you going to fight that?
Find out, yes. They have no right to do that.
If they try to stop you, what then?
I'm going to pray for wisdom on that. So we'll pray for wisdom.
Not sure.
I want to be sure to represent my people in my district. So I'll pray for wisdom to know what to do. But they cannot stop us, because that's just unconstitutional. So if they want to protect themselves, I encourage them to wear a mask. So.
Well, and the other thing, the mask doesn't help because COVID can enter through your eyeballs. So why didn't they mandate goggles?
Thank you.
Yeah, use that.
Yep. Thank you.
Anyway. Is there any news media people you want to call out for how they've been covering you? I know there's a few that have been kind of nasty.
That's right. No, everybody is entitled to their opinion, is all I will say. So I listen to that, look at it, and I either ignore it or I read it and try to glean from it. So that's what's so great about the free press in America. Everyone's entitled to their thought and their opinion.
How many lawsuits are we up to? Because I kind of think this EO is going to get defeated by death by 1,000 cuts.
Well, many of the, yes, so my suit will end at everything. Many of these other lawsuits are personal and for different, for back damages. So many of them have been pushed to federal court. So we'll be seeing that happening. The federal court, most of those cases probably won't be heard until August and later. So that'll be a follow-up. Once the governor's found unconstitutional, then that's when the federal cases begin, and who knows? Maybe damages are awarded. I'm not for sure. Maybe somebody gets legally in trouble. Maybe we have another governor in prison. Who knows? That's possible.
Glad you mentioned that. There's been, I don't know if you read the article by Edgar County Watchdogs. They say Pritzker may have committed an act of criminal intimidation. You have any thoughts on that?
He has. That's what we're witnessing with wearing masks next week at the Bank of Springfield Center. That's criminal intimidation. So, and when you have that coming from elected officials using the law, as their backing, that's dangerous. So,
is there anybody you've heard from that think they want to bring charges against the governor?
I think some of the lawsuits that have been moved to federal, I think some of that already exists. So we'll see what happens after the ruling next week.
All right. Where do you think we're going to be in 2 weeks?
We should be here in the Capitol, people's place of business, and we should be talking about a reasonable budget and the people's rights and how we're going to fix the wasteful spending and the dangerous acts of the governor. That's where we should be.
All right. Apparently my time is up because WICS wants their turn, so I better give it to them.
Thank you very much.
And his mask is down. I knew it.
Thanks.
Caught red-handed.
Oh.